You gotta give it to Meta, the commitment with which they're trying to make the Metaverse happen is remarkable, but while their vision might not actually stick, I mean, let's be honest, the Metaverse has a terrible reputation, doesn't it? They keep building over and over great headsets to actually experience our new medium. And this is the Meta Quest 3, the latest and greatest virtual reality headset from Meta. The headset that brings a new vision to the platform, mixed reality. And yet, after all the weird marketing, still feels like a better version of every single virtual reality headset they ever made. Hjerde here, so welcome to the VR Tech channel. I've been using the Quest 3 for a healthy amount of time these days because I wanted to give you an informed first review of the new virtual reality headset, mixed reality headset from Meta. To start off, thanks to Meta for sending this over, even if they obliterated completely my weekend to actually work on this video for you. This video is not actually sponsored by them, but by my big friends at VR Cover. If you know me, I've been using VR Cover from my early days with the CD1. Do you remember that one? I mean, they've been doing this since 2014. By the way, this is the first of many Quest 3 accessories from them directly, but this is the VR cover for the Meta Quest 3, with multi-layered VR cover made from super soft antimicrobial fabrics that are ideal for intense gaming because they absorb the sweat and then you can just wash them without any problem. This time they even have a thin foam lining for a more comfortable experience. They're super easy to install over the original face cover. They're sold in two pieces, so when you wash one, the other one is ready to go, and they come in two different colors, red and gray. Also, you can get them with a 10% discount at the link in the description below with the code TigerWoodQ3. So thanks to VR Cover for sponsoring this video. Let's get into it. To start, let's be honest, it's impossible to tackle this review without mentioning its successful predecessor, the Meta Quest 2. The headset that tried to push the Metaverse, sorry, I said that word again, to every single household on the planet, keeping the price down as much as possible, even selling under cost. And because the 3 comes after the 2, math, this had come as a step forward from the headset, improved in every single way, keeping the core idea the same. In a way though, the Quest 3 feels more like a back to origin, closer to the idea of the Oculus Quest 1 than the COVID and cheap phenomenon that was the Quest 2, where the idea is to finally not be as cheap as possible. I mean, we're still talking about a full plastic thing over here. And don't get me wrong, I love cheap stuff like a guy after me. I love cheap stuff too. Yeah. But this is actually trying to push a new technology forward, bringing it to as many people as possible at a reasonable price. Make no mistake, I'll spoil myself a bit over here, but the Quest 3 is better than the Quest 2 in every conceivable way. I'll make a more detailed comparison down the line on the channel, but yeah, for sure this deserves the incremental number on it. It's more powerful, more comfortable, more accessible, it has better visuals, runs better games, all of this being much smaller than its predecessor. Look at that. And that is reflected also in the box it comes in. If you didn't understand, this is a segue to the unboxing. Everything here is very straightforward. Weirdly enough though, there are no games or experiences featured on the box. Also, this is the 128GB version, but it will also be available at 512. Anyhow, in there you're gonna find the two MetaQuest Touch Plus controllers, this time without the rings on them, as they managed to cramp all the IR sensors just in the top part. These come with a wrist strap already attached, but that can be easily removed, opening the flap with this little button, and AA batteries already installed. Of course, you will find the Quest 3 in all its glory in there, with the strap already attached and ready to go. And in a little box in the back, a rather short USB Type-C to Type-C cable with a 18-watt power adapter. That, from my testing, will charge the headset from 0 to 100 just shy of 2 hours, clocking an hour and 52 minutes. Not the fastest, let's say. But hey, this is the Meta Quest 3. It really feels compact. With a USB Type-C connector on the side, this is an Oculus logo by the way, the power button, a camera for the tracking, then on the bottom you will find the IPD adjustment wheel, welcome back my friend, that feels weirdly crunchy. Is there some sand in here? They will let you move the lenses to match the position of your eyes, from 59 to 69 millimeters. But don't worry too much if you're over or under it. 3 pins for the official wireless charging accessory dock and the volume rocker. Then on the other side, another camera for the tracking and the headphone jack. I love that VR headsets always keep it on. Inside, the 2 extra clear pancake lenses, a textile face cover, and a proximity sensor to turn itself off when you are not wearing it. On the front, you're gonna find the 3 pills design with the 4 cameras, 2 RGB for the color pass-through and 2 for the tracking, and in the middle the new depth sensor that unlocks high-quality mixed reality. But yeah, here we have it. This is the Meta Quest 3. Unfortunately, start using it is not as straightforward as it seems, because again, unfortunately, we're gonna need our phone to actually do the first setup and create an account if you don't have it already. Don't worry though, no Facebook account needed this time. We won that battle last year. And then after first automatic update that took me around 5 minutes to complete, your Quest 3 will restart. And yeah, here we go. Do you remember when I was talking about a big shift in vision for this headset? That's the first thing that you will notice here, because before you were thrown completely in a new reality. You know, being surrounded by virtual things in a virtual place. This time you'll find yourself in mixed reality though, seeing the world through the 2 RGB front-facing cameras, augmented by the ability to interact with our floaty and touching menu. This is an easy explanation of mixed reality if you need it, by the way. Don't worry though, if you want your full immersion back, you can just double tap on a side or click on the little new mixed reality tab on the dashboard, as you can see, and you can have all your full immersion back with this cool, seamless transition. Cool. My first reaction was like, man, this is crisp. Miles better than the blobby Quest Pro pass-through. Is it enough though? Well, this is the screen projected on my actual ultra-wide monitor. This is how I see it with the panel rendering, and this is how I see the actual screen via the pass-through. Is it Retina resolution? Nope. It actually handles very well the changes in brightness in the scene. That is actually something very difficult to do with cameras. As you can see, the thing is plenty bright and I can still see my hand no problem and look around, and it's very difficult to do with cameras. And while it's not the best, if you really need, you can just get much closer to this screen and read what you have to read. And by the way, yeah, you can actually read your phone at a normal distance. It's a bit wobbly though. Going back to the setup, before everything though, you will be asked to create your boundary system, the area where you're allowed to move in your experiences to avoid hitting walls. And that's where things get interesting, because this time the Quest 3 will be able to scan automatically your room, understanding the obstacles and the play area with a fast sight round. By the way, all of this makes it much faster setup if you're actually moving this thing around. So, very good job over there. Just bear in mind that it will not actually recognize all the objects by itself. It might recognize the walls and some things sometimes. But if you're talking about the desk, a table, or a sofa, well, you're gonna have to input it yourself. So, it's half enough there. But let's talk about the hardware a bit, shall we? Wearing it is fairly easy. Making it comfortable though, well, it took me more time than I was expecting. You see, the strap here is not the most comfortable thing on the planet. Luckily, it's pretty easy to snap in and out to actually change it with some new accessories. By the way, if you have old Quest 2 accessories, this thing is different, so it will not fit without weird adapters. Just be aware of it. But the reality is that I found it more enjoyable than what I thought. The secret is to wear it in a very particular way, a la ski mask, with the strap almost straight going back. The only thing is that, as you notice, it will cover your ears. But I have to say that if you don't mind, I actually watched a movie in it and I was fine. After 2 hours, I didn't scream in pain, so yay. The better comfort, by the way, is also thanks to how compact this thing is. By the way, the face cushion is removable. It feels like you're breaking everything every time, but you can change it and you can actually expand it if you are wearing glasses, so you have a bit more space in there. There's a little button in here and you can move it. It's a bit finicky, but it works. So because this thing is this compact, it doesn't fit as far from your face as the Quest 2. So even if it's a tad heavier than its predecessor, it actually feels better on your face. About the face cushion, while the shape feels perfect for my face, thanks Meta, no like bleeding from anywhere beside the most argued choice to keep the nose part open, it feels weirdly scratchy. They changed the material because of the allergic reaction that some people had with the previous one, but this ain't that good. Luckily I had this VR cover laying around they just sent for the Quest 3, and they really feel like a nice sweater on your face. So yeah, something is needed. Other than that, again, it's not as comfortable as the marketing makes it up to, but you'll still be able to watch a movie with it, no problem. Yeah, turn out the VR headsets can be actually used to watch movies. Thanks Apple, I guess. One thing that I noticed that this thing gets pretty hot. I mean, not uncomfortably hot wearing it, but it blows a lot of hot air from the front, but I guess it's a positive. Better outside than inside. Comfort is not just about having this thing on your head though, because visual comfort is also as important. You know, if the view is blurry, it's not that pleasing to wear it. And here is where the Quest 3 really shines, thanks to the new pancake lenses. These are the same that we saw on the MetaQuest Pro, and everything will look good regardless of your eye position on them. I can't stress enough on how good these things are. Crunchy. I just have high praises for this. Glaring is minimal, vignetting effect is reduced thanks to the more powerful backlight of the LCD screens, and the FOV is surprisingly wider than ever, arriving at 110 degrees on point in my testing, compared to the 106 of the Quest Pro and the 96 of the Quest 2. So you can finally look around with your eyes without moving your entire head. It feels just more natural. Taking out that weird usual VR, it's blurry from the equation. These are really the killer feature of this headset for me. The great view is also thanks to the new screens behind the lenses though, with a weird custom resolution of 2064 by 2208 pixels per eye at 24 ppd, pixels per degree, 30% higher than the Meta Quest 2. These are gonna be slightly rotated around 30 degrees to actually improve the screen estate, and also to, of course, make the FOV much larger. The result is also very minimal and fainted screen door effect. The colors are pretty good, and of course the blacks are not the best. We're still talking about an LCD display, but when you're in there, well, you barely notice it, let's be honest, unless you switch from an OLED to another. Overall, it's a very nice step from the previous generation. I'll follow up with more Through the Lenses videos, by the way, so stay tuned on the channel, but so far, it seems in a very good position. Everything will look much crisper and sharper than before, and not just for the screens, but also thanks to the new processor that can actually render everything you see at a much higher and native resolution. Because powering the Quest 3 is actually the new Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2. This little guy over here, with a 2.x improvement GPU power compared to the previous generation on the Quest 2 and on the Quest Pro. While I have to admit that I was a bit skeptical at the beginning about it, I have to say that the result is I actually enjoyed playing some standalone games in here for once. Some looked straight up impressive over here on the Quest 3. Also make an entire operating system run like a breeze. It really doesn't feel as choked and also filling with the previous generation. You can tell there's a lot of headroom over here, and not just in games. I did a lot of A/B testing, actually A/B/C testing between these three, like wearing one after the other to actually see the difference, and I can say that this is really perceivable this time. And this was probably the first time that I didn't actually feel the need, like I always do, to actually play the PC VR version of a game. Trying Red Matter 2, for example, was mind-blowing. It looked like just good. Don't get me wrong, this is not a PC VR substitute in terms of computational power. It's not even close. We're still talking about a standalone headset with a mobile chipset running on batteries, but you can really tell that this is 2 times as powerful compared to the previous generation. I will not be surprised if No Man's Sky or Skyrim VR will arrive over here with some trickeries. Because we talked about PC VR, you will be able to use the Quest 3, of course, also to play PC VR game or Steam VR games, and that is gonna happen as always streaming via link using a USB Type-C cable or wireless with AirLink. That also got much more interesting thanks to the native support for Wi-Fi 6E. Thanks to the processor, the encoding and decoding is much faster over here, so you can actually bump up the bitrate quite a bit. Unfortunately, during my testing, link was completely broken, audio didn't work at all, not the microphone and not the speakers, so I had to use virtual desktop, and with the new update with actually the AV1 encoding at 10-bit, a maximum frame rate with the Snapdragon Super Resolution enabled and the Ultra setting, I know, it was mouthful. I was impressed, there was very little color banding, great clarity. I mean, it's not as clear as PC VR when you look at the very small details, but we're getting darn close. I mean, you can still get a better PC VR with the Vario or the Beyond, of course, with better screens, better clarity, and a better connection with cable, but at half of the price with these lenses, I will be happy regardless. About the audio is actually pretty good, to be honest. There are 2 openings for the speakers on the rakes on the side over here, as you can see, and also 2 openings on the top that actually function as a small subwoofer, let's say. If you're audiophile, don't worry, you'll be able to use your favorite headphones. We have a headphone jack over here, or you can connect it via Bluetooth or wireless, no problem whatsoever. But if you don't mind, the spatial audio delivered here is not as bad. Also, this is the sound of the microphone on the Meta Quest 3. You'll be the judge. What got better also thanks to the new processor, it's also the tracking. You can interact with the menu with your hands thanks to the hand tracking. That works pretty well. Still a bit shaky though. Trying the new piano game that was featured in the trailer was extremely fun, but also a bit frustrating. Or you can also interact thanks to the new controllers. They retain pretty much every characteristic of the older version, but this time with improved haptics. I have to admit I was a bit skeptical about the tracking with these things, because not having the rings on top I thought that would be a bit problematic, but so far I didn't have many problems even with the grips that I used on my Quest 2. I guess that the majority of the IR sensors are just in the top part. Also, it will work in conjunction with the hand tracking, so they will understand the position not just for the IR sensors, but also with computer vision recognizing your hand. Again, I found it pretty good. The only little hiccup was in a game like Aspire 1 when I used the scanner, keeping my hand on his side, and there I was actually losing a bit the tracking. Also because they changed the positioning on the camera that now is facing downward a bit. That's why we're able to have actual upper body tracking with this thing. But yeah, of course it creates a kind of a dead zone on the top part of the headset. Not a deal breaker, but just keep it in mind. Also, I noticed that the switch between tracking of the controllers and the hand tracking can be a bit aggressive. Sometimes if I don't move my controllers for some second, it just switches to hand tracking, even if I still have the controllers in my hands, and that can be a bit annoying in some games. Also, my right thumbstick does this sound. I'm pretty sure it's not meant to do like that. Though where the tracking really flexes its muscles is with mixed reality. That is the big focus of this new headset. Thanks also to the new depth sensor. Trying first contact that comes pre-installed on the headset was crazy to see I will recognize some objects that actually have a actual occlusion for the first time. So I couldn't shoot through the chairs or the AC, and those little bolts were actually getting stuck under my desk. Weirdly though, not all games are using it yet. I'm a little against the norm, but I really like mixed reality. Demeo for me was a really big one, and playing Drop Dead the Cabin Home Invasion was absolutely exhilarating and extra fun. Also having the virtual things actually grounded somewhere in reality really makes a difference. I don't know if you're ever gonna get big games in mixed reality, probably gonna be more demos or small experiences, but if there's to watch a movie or do some entertainment or something like that, I'd rather be in a mixed reality environment or just put a big screen over there, instead of being isolated and alone in a movie theater. But about the pass-through, again, it feels miles better than the visually impaired Quest 2 and the Quest Pro. The visuals can get a bit wobbly at times, but I'm sure that is gonna be where we're gonna see the most improvements with this headset in the next updates. Because it's weird, but Meta is one of the few companies I actually trust when it comes to buying something to have it evolve in the future. I mean, we're update 56, 57 right now. Meta always delivered headsets that evolved so much in the years that I can't help but being extremely excited on what the Quest 3 will be in some time. I'm sure that the potential would evolve exponentially like we saw in the past. The software though for now is the same as the Meta Quest 2 and the Meta Quest Pro and will be for a very long time. While we're gonna receive of course new games for the new headset, well, games are still gonna arrive also to the older ones. They're just gonna look not as good. And that will likely happen for a very long time considering that the bulk of the audience is there. I'm gonna be honest, I felt a bit weird using this thing. Coming from the Quest 2, again, is better in any conceivable way, really. But at the same time, it doesn't do anything that the others can't do. I mean, even mixed reality on the Quest 2 will be in black and white, will be very blobby and impossible to see pretty much, but you can still do it. You can still use it. In some noir movie style, I guess. I was very excited, but at the same time, it's like if I wanted to see more, to try more of what this headset can actually do. Having both at home, this is the situation where, well, you're never gonna look back. Like you're gonna use the Quest 3 and there's gonna be no reason whatsoever to actually go back to the Quest 2. No one. So yeah, this is a really worthy upgrade. Not revolution. If it's your first time in VR, you might want to get this one because it's really easier to use, more accessible. But the cool thing is that you want to save some money and dip your toes in VR for this first time, well, the Quest 2 will be extra cheap right now in the used market. And this is not a bad headset by any means. Because unfortunately the Quest 3 is not as inexpensive as its predecessor when it came out. This is gonna start at $499 for the 128GB version and $649 for the 512GB version. Considering you might want to get a new strap, maybe with battery, a new face cushion, maybe a charger, the straps for the controllers, bringing the price close or even over $1,000 very easily. Is it worth it? Well, you will be the judge of it. I can't tell you how to spend your money, but for me, yeah, it is. Probably we were spoiled by the low price of the Quest 2, but in a year where phones start at $1,000 without even a charger, $500 feels very reasonable for what you're getting over here, also in terms of technology. And yeah, you even get to keep the charger and the cable. As I said at the beginning, they might want to sell you the marketing behind it, the Metaverse, mixed reality. And to that I say, who cares? The reality you're getting very good hardware in this little package over here. If you wanted to use it for VR, that's your guy. If you wanted to use it for mixed reality, that's your guy again. If you wanted to use it for entertainment, that's your guy. If you want to use it for PC VR, that's your guy. The value here is just too hard to beat. What they made all over again is the best all-in-one headset money can buy. Is it gonna be as good as the Vision Pro when it's gonna come out? Probably not, but well, this is gonna be 7 times cheaper without considering taxes. So yeah, you're not missing out. Hey guys, this was my review of the Meta Quest 3. I hope you enjoyed it as it kept me awake for many days. I'm exhausted right now and I can't even imagine how long it's gonna take to edit this thing. Yay. If you made it this far, of course a like will be extra appreciated and will help immensely. Also, if you want to know more about the Quest 3, remember that this is just the beginning. We're going to follow up with many different videos and comparison with the Quest 2, with the Quest Pro. Let me know what you want to see. And of course, with some full Through the Lenses videos. If you want to pick it up, I'm going to leave the affiliate links in the description below. Doesn't cost anything to you, of course, but that helps a lot the channel in this weird endeavor of keeping a VR channel running, even if you are a very small niche. But overall, thanks for watching. As always, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe to the channel for more VR tech. If you already have a channel, jump button down, little further, also the Patreon. Thanks to all the Patreons for joining the channel, of course. And I see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching again. Ciao.